Hello, everybody. Bear with me while I get things set up. Okay. All right. Looks like we're live. So hello, everybody. I'm so happy to have you joining me here. Still trying to figure out this whole YouTube live thing. Trying to figure out how I can, view my comments and chat and all that while my computer is not close to me. So we'll see. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you're joining me because you saw my previous video, which was, I think, turning $56 into $1,000 from a Goodwill outlet or a Goodwill bins haul, this is going to be the follow-up. And so this will also be really useful if you need some help taking photos, if you need help with your process. One of my favorite things about eBay is, and this is like creating processes that really work and make things efficient. So what I'm going to be doing today is taking photos of all of my items. I'm also going to be measuring and weighing them and also folding and storing them so that I'm going to get everything so that later all I have to do is I'll have all of the information in my photos that I need to list the item so that when I'm listing the items, I don't need to see the item. I don't need to be near it or anything like that. So, all right, first off, let me go over some of the supplies that I'm going to be using for doing all of this. The first thing that's really important to me is rubber bands. So I use rubber bands to fold and store my items. How I do that a little bit later, but to have a lot of rubber bands. I just get these from the Dollar Tree or Walmart or something. They're like $1. The next thing that I need is these little sticker sheets. So these are white little stickers that I can write on, and I'm going to be writing the sizes, the measurements, and the weight on these so that I can take a picture of it on the item. And so I have all of that information with me on the item. The next thing I have here is a little scale. I really cheaped out. I wish I didn't. I could have spent $5 more and got a better scale, but I think I spent like $9 on this and I got like a really cheap kitchen scale. So that's what I have here. I'm going to be using that. And then I just have like a clear little tub to sit on top of the scale because it can't. So that way everything is contained in the items. Next thing I use is a tape measure. And I don't have one of those cloth ones. I just have like a normal house tape measure. But I actually like this. I just keep it extended. And that way I can really quickly see or get my measurements. The next thing is a lint roller. So I have this lint roller, and these are like $1 from the Dollar Tree or IKEA or something like that. They're really nice. Just kind of start with a fresh one there. Set that aside. What else do I have here? Oh, the next thing that I love having is a clothes folder. I don't know if you've ever seen these. I first saw them on QVC, but it's folders. So you place your shirt or other clothing item here, go like that, and then go like that. And then what it does is it creates a fold of the item that's exactly this size. And I usually fold it in half again. But what this does is it makes all of my items folded to be the exact same width and height and all of that. So when I'm storing them, it makes it really easy to store all of my items because they're all the same size. All right, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I have the giant clothing pile over here. I'm gonna grab those. All right. So I know some people like to do their photos and all of that by type of clothing. I don't really care because my box light set up. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is what I use around is I have these linoleum tiles from the Home Depot. I made a sewing table or like a cutting table, and I had some left over. So I'm using the cutting table that I have right now and then making it a little bigger with the extra tiles. I ultimately want to upgrade and get like a giant paper background, but don't. So this is what I have. All right, so I just lay out my items, make sure they look really nice, make sure the light's hitting them right, and then I just use my phone to take photos. My phone takes really, really good photos. So I just use that, you know? Why get complicated? I mean, I have a really nice camera, like a $800 Sony camera, but it's so much easier to just use my phone because when I use my phone, everything just goes straight to like my Google Photos. And that way I don't need to upload them to my computer. So I take one photo of it lying flat. I take another showing the tag. I think it's really important. People want to see the tag. I take another photo of the back. And then if there's any detailing, like I think this one has a really nice like back label. I'll take a photo of that. And then finally, I don't know why, but I like taking a photo of it, of the item folded. If I'm a buyer, I want to see like, I don't know, that the item's like nice and presentable. Okay, so the next thing after I take those 4 photos is I take the measurements. So I take them lying flat. I do weight for pants. I do the waist, I do the rise, and then I do the inseam. So the waist is basically, you just measure the waist laying flat. So that's 15.5 inches. The rise is from the top all the way to the crotch. So we're 15.5 for the width for the waist, 10 inches rise. And then the inseam is 17. So then what I do is I'll take those measurements, 15.5, 10 rise, and 17 inseam. All right, so then after I have the measurements, I fold the item. If I'm doing pants, I don't use my folding machine just because it's easy. So then I like to fold them in like a size like this. And I always make sure that the tag is visible, at least somewhat visible from the fold. And then I use 2 rubber bands to fold the item like that. And what this does is it makes it really easy to store. I mean, I'm sure the wrinkles will cause, or the rubber bands will cause a few wrinkles, but at least it's gonna be like in its place and it's not gonna like go all over the place. So after I do that, then the next thing I do is I weigh the item. I always round up. So this is 11.85. So I'm gonna round up to 12. Okay. So then I just write my stickers in an order that I know. So I do the weight, waist, rise, and then inseam. And so I end up with a sticker. It just looks like that. That just has all of my measurements and everything like that. Then what I do is I place that on the item itself, and then I take a photo of the item with the sticker. So then now I have all of my measurements and my weight in my phone with my photos. So that's kind of it. So I'm just gonna keep going. I really can't wait to get a mannequin. I'm like reorganizing and cleaning out my office so that when I do decide to get a mannequin, I'll have some space for it. It'll be really nice. So excited. I think a lot of things are good, if not better, doing flat lays like this. But there's just certain items that just don't translate on flat lays, you know? When I'm taking photos, I always try and make sure that they're like really. I do edit all of my photos before they go up, but you know, if you take good photos, then you're not going to have to do as much editing, which saves you a lot of time. Oh God, I try and take all measurements and then write it. 17, 8.5. So, 17, 8.5, 17 are the measurements. I'm just gonna fold it. It's just so nice when you get all of your items like folded in the same size. It makes storing so much easier. I do need to get a new scale. I need one that like plugs in, because this one's always just like it turns off after a certain amount of time and it's annoying. That's the thing that's like tough with these when you're starting a new business, is you don't know if you're going to like really stick with it. So, you know, like I cheaped out on some of these items and I just wish I hadn't, because, you know, it saves you money if you spend $15 the first time rather than spending like $9 and then, you know, upgrading down the line. But you never know. This is that Callaway golf shirt. I'm really excited to list this. I hope it sells quickly. I think it's really cute. This is something like I feel like a very wealthy old man would wear. I think it's funny being an eBay reseller, because like so many of, you know, you just never, I don't know, I guess in some cases I can understand the price on certain items, but like the quality of this shirt is like the same to me as like an H&M shirt. So like, and you know, from up front, you really can't tell that it's a Callaway shirt. It just looks like a polo. So never know. Okay. Oh, so what I do for shirts is I measure the chest. So to do that, I measure from the armpit seam to the armpit seam. 23. And then I do back collar to the bottom. So 23, 26. Oh, I still don't have any viewers, but I hope some people join me soon. Okay. Then I just keep my folder on the side and pull it out when I'm ready. I wish I had a little bit more space so that I could kind of have this like assembly line, but I don't. So to use this folder, let me see if I can move back. Perfect. So when you're doing shirts, you place it face down and you want like the top of the shoulders to just reach the end. You fold up anything excess that goes over the top. Do 1, 2, pull this in, and then you go like that. And then you get these really nice folds. So this is the same thing that retail stores use to fold their clothes. And when I'm doing shirts, and especially shirts, I really like taking a photo of it folded. I don't know why. I think it just shows the buyers that you're just not throwing the items in a ball. Like, you care about them. And I just rubber band it like that. And measure the weight. 11 ounces. Put that on and then take the photo. And it's so nice because if you follow this process exactly, you always know that like the first 4 or 5 photos are going to be the ones that you upload to your listing. And then the last one is going to be one that has all your measurements. Oh no. I just noticed a hole in this one. It's one thing that sucks is you never know. Like, once you get things under the lights, you'll notice things that you didn't notice before. So can't sell it with a hole in it. It sucks. It's an Eddie Bauer shirt too. I thought it was super cute. This is that jersey I knew nothing about. Warriors. If the shirts have a design on them, I always like to take a photo of the design. If items like this have like, extra tags and like extra detailing, take more photos. I love taking as many photos as I can, but like, some items, like if you're just photographing a shirt, there's only, so many photos you can take of a shirt. But the main reason that I like taking lots of photos is the only thing I put in my listing description is the measurements, really. So my photos are my description. So it's really important to me that the photos are really good. It's funny because I had this folding machine before I did eBay. I love having, I have to measure. I love having my clothes folded like professionally. It makes your closet look like a store. Anyway, if anybody's watching this, I really hope that you're working or listening, relaxing. One of the reasons I wanted to do this YouTube thing is I love listening to people when I'm doing work or when I'm falling asleep or whatnot. I used to have a YouTube channel. Let's see, about 8 years ago. I still have it up. But I don't know. When I made YouTube videos, I always felt like I wasn't interesting enough. And I think that's something that a lot of YouTubers feel, that they just don't have anything interesting to say. But I kind of like just examined the YouTubers that I watch every day, and most of them are just, talking and doing nothing. Like, I think the YouTuber that I've watched the longest is actually the longest. The OG YouTuber that I've watched is Gigi Gorgeous on YouTube. I watched her way, like when she first started, like obviously way before she transitioned and all that. But another one that I really like is Trisha Paytas. And she's like an example of you don't need like super high production value or to be talking about something super interesting. You just need to have an interesting personality because a lot of people just like listening to people talk. I'm super introverted, and so I really don't enjoy hanging out with a lot of people very often. It basically like sucks the life out of me. So one thing that I've realized is I really enjoy listening to YouTube videos because I think it fulfills that like social interaction that every human needs. But like I get that social interaction without even be around people, you know? Like I was just watching this YouTube video or Access Hollywood interview that Trisha Paytas did talking about mukbangs. And it's like when you think about it, like who would watch like an hour-long video watching somebody eat? But when you really think about it, I mean, there's like a lot of people out there that, you know, you have 3 meals a day. You don't have somebody to eat with every meal. And it's really nice to like, you know, eat and hang out with somebody. Oh, I just had a viewer, but they went away. Bummer. I must have said something dumb. Actually, I have no idea what I'm expecting with this YouTube thing. Just thought I would try it out. See what happens. This is that Enza hoodie. 19 ounces. I knew it was going to be over a pound, but it just always sucks when things go over a pound because then you have to pay more for shipping. I wonder how long I've been doing this. I feel like I'm going a little bit trying to talk, but shoot, another thing I need is scissors. Okay, I got my scissors. I'm gonna run and wait. Hey Google, what time is it? We'll see how long I can do this. I feel like I got a little over ambitious with my haul yesterday. My goal that never happens is I always want to, like, my goal would be to go shopping at the bins in the morning, then in the afternoon, get all of the items listed. But it just always goes so crazy when I'm at the bins. Like, there's just no way I can do all of that, I guess. 19 by 21. wonder how I get more people to view my YouTube channel. It's like such a bummer. I live streamed this this morning. So this is my third live stream that I'm doing. But the funniest thing is I did a live stream this morning and my audio wasn't set up right, so nobody could hear me. But I had 14 people watching. And then so I redid that whole live stream. I did a haul, so I rehauled everything. And then on that live stream, literally nobody watched. And then this one nobody's watching. So it's like when people can't hear me talk, they like me. Actually, I don't think it's that. I think I know because like YouTube really enjoys likes when people live stream. So I know they like YouTube promotes live videos. So I think I must have just like put in like the right or different keywords when I did that first one and people found me. Or maybe it was the time. But if you're watching me right now, it'd be awesome if you would subscribe because I'm going to be doing some more live streams like this. I figure I might as well do my own live streams. I'm working so that I can feel like I'm hanging out with other people. And hopefully one day people will watch. Because the sleeves get all bunched up. You know, if this was like a higher priced item, I would take the time to make sure everything was flat and all the wrinkles were out, but it's one of the it's a Nike item, so people know Nike quality. They don't need, if you see a photo with Nike and wrinkles, people know you just dry it and put it on and the wrinkles will go away. It's once you get in the habit of things, it's things go pretty quick, but sometimes I just forget. A lot of times I forget to measure 20. When do I need to actually time myself to see how long it takes to photograph and list an item? My guess is about 5 minutes, but I tend to I think most people, when you're doing work, you tend to underestimate how much time it will take. When I was at my last job, I always did. My boss would ask me how long do you think this will take? And I'd be like, oh, 10 minutes. And it'd take 2 hours. I think it's because you just always want to be optimistic, And especially when you're talking to your boss, you want to make it seem like you can get things done quicker. But it's always best to be realistic, huh? So the items I'm photographing right now are ones that I just washed and dried. I said this in my previous stream, but I don't wash all of my items. I only wash them if they need to be cleaned. And I know kind of, being in the bins, things just aren't that clean, but I would actually really love to hear some people's opinions on that. I don't know. I personally if I were to buy clothing from eBay, I would wash it first, to be honest. I think it's just one of those things that if you're going to be putting it on your body and wearing it, I just would want to make sure it's clean. you know, and even if you really trust the eBay seller or whoever, like I still, you know, you just want that peace of mind, like knowing that you washed it yourself. So, and like I said, all of my items are in very good condition. So they're not dirty. I think just sometimes they might have like the thrift store smell to them. 17. I'm curious to know if anybody's process is similar to mine. I only watch a few people on YouTube that do this, and I haven't seen anybody do something like this before. The other reason that I really like them to be folded this way is I use really large 45-gallon tubs to store my clothing. And because they're so big, it's a little bit harder to find items sometimes. So I like to inventory them in rows. So each bin has 3 rows, and because all of the clothing are folded to the same length, then it makes it really easy to create those rows, you know? I thought this was so cute. When I was at the bins, I swear so many people looked over this, and I haven't sold scrubs, but I know like scrubs are in demand. Like people always need scrubs. It's in really good condition. I think the thing that like weirds me out about used scrubs is like, what if there's like blood on them? Vinny, come here. Vinny, you gonna join me? He knows he's not supposed to be on my photo table, but he like slowly snuck over. So this one has a big pattern. I like to take a photo of just that. Take a photo of the tag. And a photo of the back. When I first started eBay, I was really surprised by how many people would ask for sizing. Because the first couple batches of things that I listed, I didn't put sizes on. I didn't put measurements. And like on all of those items, I just get tons of questions like, what are the measurements? What are the measurements? I guess I just never thought like that people really use those, but apparently they do. So I do measurements for all of my items now. At first, I was just like, I'm just going to do it on women's clothes. And then went to my men's clothes, people were wondering the sizes. So I think it's just really helpful because brand sizing is never consistent whatsoever, which drives me bonkers. Like it just drives me crazy that like companies think they can sell more clothes by making their sizes bigger, but say they're actually smaller, you know? So like, do they really think that somebody who's an extra large is going to buy an item that says medium that fits them just because it fits them and it says medium? I mean, I wouldn't. But maybe. I'm sure it's one of those things where they've done like millions of dollars of studies and found out that it actually does help. This is the apostrophe item. This is, I still haven't looked it up. I think it's, oh my gosh, I can't think. Anthropology. That's another thing is when I'm photographing and all this kind of stuff, I don't know. I don't think about the pricing and all that. I just worry about that when I'm actually doing the listing. So I do take into consideration a little bit. Like if I have a $30 item, I'm gonna spend more time photographing it than I would a $10 item, you know. And sometimes there's items that I just know that I'm gonna put on auction instead of a buy it now. And in that case, I don't spend that much time on listings. Forgot to take measurements. When you're doing this, it's just really important that you like follow your process to a T. Because there's a lot of times where like I'll forget to take photos of the tags on the item. And in that case, like then I have to take them later, and then it's not next to the photos of the actual product. So it just makes things harder. So when you just get everything in order and everything streamlined, it just goes so much faster and it's so much easier. Anyway, I hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope you're working with me. I think while I'm here, maybe I'll talk a little bit about how I got into eBay. That might be fun since nobody's watching this right now. I might as well share some secrets. This will be like a therapy session. So, we're in March right now. So last July, I think, was the beginning of July 1st, June 29th or whatever. I lost my job. It was a really weird situation. I worked for a digital marketing company, and I think I was really good at what I did. And I did very well in the company. I started at the company when there was only 2 other employees, and by the time I left, there was like 14, something like that. So I really helped build this small business. But towards the end of not last year, but the year before, I had been thinking about leaving. I had been working there for 3 years, and if any of you have ever worked at a startup, you know how stressful it is. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Startups in general, like if you go work for like Microsoft, it's like they have their shit together, you know? They know what they're doing, and they're like a well-oiled machine. But if you go to a startup, it's like, they have no idea what's going on. They have no processes. There's no set way to do anything. So you're really just making things up as you go. And it's very exciting. I won't lie about that. It's very exciting and it's very fun because you're here at the very beginning and you get to make all of these decisions of like how things will be done in the future because you're the one making all of these processes and creating the company. The thing that really sucks about that, I mean, it does have its like all its upsides. Like it's super exciting. You get to be very creative. You have a lot of flexibility in what you do, and you can really kind of do things the way you want and the way you feel things should be done, which is great. But but the downside is that it's constant change. So I think most people fear change to some extent. Some people really embrace it, but I think most people, like, deep down, it's like change is stressful, and it's not always, it's hard to have things changing all the time. So I think the change just really got to me because nothing ever stayed the same. Like, you're constantly innovating, you're constantly changing things. And so while that was really exciting, it also was very stressful, and it also put a lot of pressure on me because, I'm creating these processes for this business that should last the next, 10 years. And if they're not done right the first time, it can really, throw off the business. So that was something that was hard, but I think, God, this is going to be a real therapy session. But all in all, I ended up leaving my job because I just could not take the stress anymore. I was definitely underpaid, undervalued, and underappreciated, which is something I'm sure a lot of people in the corporate world feel. But by the time I left, I realized that my team, like I said, we were a team of like 14 people. But my team of 4, including myself, were making up about 80% of the revenue. So we had like, I keep forgetting to take measurements. We had like 4 people making up 80% of the revenue and 8 people that weren't. And the 4 people that were making up a majority of the revenue, we were paid the least out of everybody. We got the worst space in the office. We got the worst equipment. We couldn't get the tools we needed. And so we were just fully like taken advantage of. So I ended up leaving. After I left, quite a few other people left, which was a bummer. But I guess the timing worked out. I'm kind of, my God, I'm sorry. It's a good thing nobody is watching this. That got real heavy really quick. I had a lot of pink stuff today. All right, guys. Let's see how many events are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12 items photographed and listed. No idea how long I've been doing this, but I'm going to take a quick break and we'll be back a little bit later.